It feels so wrong that I had like a really productive reading week, except for the fact that it's readathon month, so I'm still technically behind. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing my weekly update for the first week of April, and that's right, it is readathon time. So I have been trying to read quite a lot of stuff, and I was still working on finishing up my last book from March, and so that kind of slowed me down, because technically to read all 20 prompts needs to be 2 books every 3 days, or 1.5, so like 3/4 of a book a day, I think is technically what about you get to. And so I'm technically a little behind. I should be a bit further than I actually am, but we're gonna talk about everything here that I read. So first off, I did finish pretty early in the week the Burning Stone. I was doing audio for my reread of this, book 3 in Crown of Stars. And this one I was a lot closer to done and had finished up. And man, I have to say, like I said, I enjoyed this a lot more than I did the first time. Because I don't even know, it still may be my least favorite, but just the things that I didn't like, I just didn't care that much because there were so many other things going on. I'm like, oh, that's so cool because that's setting up this and that. And just like, I forgot how strong the ending of this book is. Plus the lead in to book 4, which was one of my favorites the last time reading through. So still having a great time and really looking forward to book 4. And then the other thing that I was finishing up, which I actually just finished on Friday, so like I was still reading this the whole week, is The Lions of Alberson by Guy Gabriel Kay, and oh my gosh, was this just a phenomenal book. I wish that I would have finished this before the month, but at the same time I can't regret reading this, even though it really slowed me down readathon-wise, because this was just a fantastic book. This is my first Guy Gabriel Kay, and it probably could not have gone better. I was really pulled into this to begin with. One of the main characters, Jahan or Jahane, I'm still not entirely sure how to pronounce, and just her story and her character immediately I just felt was developed so well, and I was so interested. And this is one of those things where it takes a while for you to be able to tell where things are going, I feel like, but at the same time, it's just one of those, the style of storytelling is very much just we're in this world and you're just experiencing this world through these characters, yet what it's weaving together is just such a hugely impactful story as well. And just, I cannot wait to film my full review for this, where I will be talking a lot more in depth. It's just, I haven't been this excited for like an author that I'm newer to reading, that I have so many books to get to, probably since Janny Wirtz. So I feel like it's a good time as I'm getting ready to finish up everything from Janny's stuff that she's written, and then now starting some Guy Gabriel Kay. So I'll definitely be looking forward a lot to reading more of that stuff as well, because I have a ton of his books. So yeah, so I'll definitely talk more in detail. It should be coming out this week, where I will definitely be talking more about that. Then the other things that I was reading as well is Great Book of Amber by Roger Zelazny. This is all 10 books of Amber. And I had planned to read just the first one, which is 9 Princes in Amber, but I ended up actually immediately reading the second one, Guns of Avalon. So you can see that's 2 books in. They're not particularly long. One of the reasons that I figured they'd be good readathon books, and I'd been meaning to get to this for a while, and this was so different. I really didn't know what to expect here. This is 70s, and I guess I would say sci-fantasy, because this does definitely, it has fantastical elements, absolutely, but also it has kind of an old school sci-fi feel to it as well, with some of the older sci-fi things that I've read as well. But it's just super interesting and doing some really unique things. The first book, I immediately, I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this. I wanted to read the second one to get a better idea of kind of what this series is. So I'll be doing a review coming out soon for the first 2 kind of combo, because I just feel like it'll be easier to talk about that experience. But really interesting, because the basis here is somebody wakes up in like the normal world, and they have amnesia, they don't remember anything, but then they're slowly finding out about what things are, and we have basically these very powerful people, the princes in Amber, who are able to travel between different like shadow realms, sort of, and it's super interesting. It's one of those things that you can definitely, I feel like I've seen inspiration taken from this and things that I've read. I know specifically the Ringsworn trilogy by Howard Andrew Jones. He very much included something that was inspired by this, which makes sense in retrospect as well. But I'm very curious. I will definitely be continuing this series. I don't know if this is going to end up being like a series that I just absolutely love, but I'm very intrigued, very interested with what I've read so far. So I am very curious to continue and read some more of that as well with it. So those were, oh no books were harmed, I promise. Those were the first two books I technically read for Readathon, and then I moved on to another one where I was going to be reading a series, which is the Abhorsen Chronicles. And so this was originally marketed as the Abhorsen trilogy. I'm treating this as a trilogy, even though I know other books were added much, much later. So I did read, apparently Sabriel. I thought it was Sabriel, but it makes sense. It's Sabriel. And then I'm probably like 2/3 through Lirael as well. And this is one I'd been meaning to read this for so long, because in my like I think middle school or elementary library or something had Sabriel, and I always meant to read it. I read some other Garth Nix when I was younger, and I never read that book for some reason. At least I don't think so. When I was reading it, there were some things that seemed vaguely familiar, but I'm still pretty sure that I never actually read it. So I've been meaning to for a long time. And I didn't know a ton about this. I knew that it's supposed to be kind of more YA, but I think I had always pictured this, once again, partially because it was in my middle school library. If not, I'm pretty sure it was middle school side, not the elementary side. It was a middle school library. I just assumed like oh yeah, that's kind of the age range it's for, like, preteens to early teens type of thing, and not quite. This is, I feel like, a reminder that YA means young adult and not like kids, because this is certainly not middle grade. It is very much YA in kind of the approach. It is a little bit more straightforward with the character journey and the story that's being told, but it's a lot darker than I was expecting in the first book, and especially in the second book as well. But the base plot is Sabriel is the daughter of the Abhorsen, who is a necromancer who specifically is like their responsibility, their charge is to get like dead that are coming back into life and get them banished back beyond the 9 gates of death. And so immediately, that's what we're working on. And there are some moments and some tonally, some things that are a little bit darker, some things that are a little bit more on the adult side as far as content. There's nothing like explicit here, but there definitely like there's some violence. There's some like more so like mentions of sexual content, like in a very much not explicit way, just like mentions of that being a thing for the character who's like 17, 18, that she's thought about. I basically is about as far as it goes, but still, it's like this isn't a kid's book, and so I wasn't fully expecting that. But then the second book opens up with the character having certain ideations of something that I'm pretty sure I would not be allowed to say on YouTube because the algorithm wouldn't like it. And that really took me off guard as well. And it is, I'm not done with the book, but it is handled in a way of like showing them getting past that. And so I can understand the use of it, but just took me by surprise. These are definitely not for like super young audiences, this series so far. And so I definitely think it's something that I was expecting to be like, this is fine, it's a little bit younger, but it's solid, and the world building is what sticks out to me, I think, a lot here as well. There's a lot being set up, and the second book as well is opening up a lot more with the world building of things that I'm like, okay, so a couple of things aren't quite what I thought. So it's been interesting so far for sure. I'm planning to do a review of the first book, I think, and then I'm reading the second book now, but I don't know if I'm going to go straight into the third book or not. I'll probably end up switching off to something else for a bit. But so I'll probably, once I finish all of the first 3, I'll do like a review for the 3 as a trilogy as well. But yeah, I'll probably just do the first book to talk about. Maybe I'll end up doing. I'll have to see. I'm not entirely sure yet. But anyway, so that is what that's what I read in here in this first week of the readathon. So I'm going to be starting in this next week, Dawn of Wonder by Jonathan Renshaw, which is a buddy read that I agreed to before joining the readathon, and I'm like, oh no, because this is a really long book. This is like a 700-page book as well. So I'll be starting. This is my really big book of the readathon that I'll be going through. Besides, Trial of the Flame is also huge. I'll be doing that audio though, so I'll still be reading other things while I'm listening to that as well. But yeah, so I'll be doing that. And then I'll probably try and throw in some of my other like shorter, quicker reads as well, so that I'm still getting other books done, as this one is gonna, I'm sure, take me a little bit longer. But yeah, and now that I am, everything I read now is specifically going to be counting for the readathon, so yeah, that at least is good that I'm finally there. But so that's it for this one, though. I should have lots more next week, hopefully, when we talk about what's going on there. A lot of reviews coming up, like I said, for Amber, for Abhorsen, Lions of Aursan, coming up as well. We'll be looking at my my top 10 books of the first quarter coming up here as well, and probably a book haul as well, because I have enough for a moderately sized one. So lots of good stuff coming. It'll be a pretty packed month here in April with reviews and other content, but we'll get there when we get there for that. That's it for this one. So make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardry Enclave Discord. If you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, really anything at all, it's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.